Oh, hello. Hello, Kiro. How you doing? You alright? How are we all? And by we all, I mean Kiro and Chibi. Hi, Chibi. How are we all? I've just realised that this setup means I have to turn away from the microphone to look at you. But, you know, we can work it out. It's fine. Hey up. Hey, oh, hit the microphone. Ah, it's just going so well. Yeah. Welcome to 16 Symbols. The stream where we always know what's happening, and it's always competent and well told. How am I? I'm plodding along. Could be better, could be worse. Not too bad. Yeah. Yourselves? How's all going? Thank you, by the way, to Turts on Twitch. Turts on Twitch, for following, at midday. According to my thing, and I mainly bring that up purely because I would be very surprised if you weren't Turts on YouTube, and you left a very nice comment on the New Haven Vale video. So thank you very much. That was very nice. So I'm trying to organise this chaos. Never organise the chaos. Speaking of which, here we are. Still haven't done a picture for Onion, so this is all looking a bit like a jumbled mess. But that's fine, we only have to focus on the last bit. So, the last time, I remember the gist of what we did, and then I looked at the drawings that we did, and I had no memory of them. Just going in there, and then there's like the big mushroom place, and stuff. All chaos, all the time. So yeah, last time we went to the swamps by the Mushroom Village, under the instruction of Christie's villain. There they are. Who is now untransformed from a big lobster creature, and is now starting to reevaluate their life decisions, and as a consequence, is going to help us out a little bit and tell us what they know about poison nurse and all that sort of thing going on. So she takes us to a abandoned shrine, or a ransacked shrine, in the mushroom swamps. We go there and we find you're here, stupid internet. Oh, internet, how dare. And there we find, amongst a lot of just sort of ransacked nonsense, we find a survivor who happens to be the person we saw in the portal way back in stream number 3, I think. Who gives us some information about things that are going on. In particular, Brad realizes, oh great, this is another weird mumbo jumbo thing that's happening to you. Peridot is like, oh, don't look at me. You don't recognize me. I'm not here. It's fine. But we learned some bits and bobs. I don't know what we learned, but we did. Oh, you just somehow came up with the name for your villain, Viv. Fantastic. Viv, after basically almost finishing their story, finally has a name. Hooray. Viv. It's a nice name. Yeah. So that's that. Can't remember what we came up with. Either way, what we learned, rather. Probably learned... Well, we discovered that Mo has the gift of the goddess. I think that's explicitly been said now. And Peridot's like, you got what? And we've discovered that there's an explicit connection between Mo and the goddess. Don't think we quite know yet that that's supposed to be Grandma Bonk. But we do know that there's an intrinsic link there, and this isn't all just random coincidental nonsense. Brad is pretty much done with that. Just as everything else you do, you have a revelation just in the nick of time. Fantastic. I'm the opposite. I get loads of information right at the beginning, and then for the duration of the rest of it, I have nothing. And that's why I never finish long projects. Brad is done with all this nonsense. Indeed, so much so that the party splits up. And we've decided that they're splitting up to solve 2 different problems. One group is going to go and deal with the corporation that's messing around and doing things. I think this is when we're going to discover that there's been a robot thing going on. Oh, no, we saw the instigation of that, didn't we? We caused it. No, Grigori caused it. By accident. Because of course he did. Either way, yes, Brad, Fu, Stoker, Jethro, and Onion are all off and going to do some stuff with Viv. Somewhere. To do with the corporation and try to... Because we need to try and help the people out in the factory. We need to work out a solution to that. The factory presumably being owned by the corporation. And we find out what's actually happening there. People being turned into goop. Still not entirely sure what's happening. As well as also, destroying the monopoly and bringing an end to the subjugation that is happening. Shramp... Team Shramp, Team Anti-Shramp, consists of Mo, Perry, Gill, and Bramble, which I completely forgot was the name of the Jabber friend. They're off to try and do something about this whole shrimp nonsense. And they all have their own reasons, some of which are more specific than others. Jethro is, of course, going for fun. Onion's like, yes, I will at some point do a picture of Onion. Grigori does most of the things he does by accident. No, he very specifically evades tax. Whereas honestly kind of getting interested in those portals and if one of them leads to a calmer, less nonsensey world. No, he wouldn't trust it. You could see a vision of a calm paradise on the other side of one and he's like, no, I don't trust it. I don't know what's around the corner. Probably some sort of giant mango monster. I'm not trusting it. Yeah. So this is, we're splitting. The party splits. And the only thing we know is that we're going to go somewhere friendly and immediately fight a boss. Sorry. So, I don't know what the intention is here. What team we're following. I should do the split, shouldn't I? Hang on, just for the sake of, stuff. So we have this, there. We have Gil. Is it Gil with 1 L or 2? I don't know. Bramble, the Jabber. They're in one team. And then we have the other team. That consists of Brad. Boo. Stoker. Oh yeah, we came up with the idea that Fu is sort of teasing Brad by calling Stoker his apprentice, his protege. Yeah, so hopefully that'll pop up on screen. There we go, there's 2 parties. We've split. Hi Doc, how's it going? Perry Bramble sounds like either a posh brand of a nauseating white American suburban... posh brand or a nauseating white American suburban couple, which is probably both. I was going to say Perry Bramble sounds like a nice cordial. I think you always write it with 2 L's, but who knows? I've got it written down with 2 L's in the sheet, but then again, I've also got, Mo is still called worse in that. Yeah, so we are going somewhere friendly. It's a short location, isn't it? It's just got 5 things going on. So we're going to a new town. We have to fight a plot boss. The plot boss? Boss plot, sorry. Boss plot. And then 3 other things happen. 1, 2, 3. Right. Which part are we following? Where are we going? There we are. She's still a worse, so you're correct. Yeah. She's getting worse and worse. And that's cordial or tonic water, which in itself is posh. Yeah. Where have we yet to explore? I think we said that Magma City is the thing we might do later. Like maybe this is Magma City. No, this is the going back to the main city. This is I can't remember. Get the next symbol then pick. Okay, we'll do 3. No more though. Spoiled surprise. Boom. Someone leaves. There we go. We got a tragedy coming. Someone dies, but who knows what this is going to be? Maybe we go somewhere. I guess one of the optional characters could leave. Fu, maybe. Maybe we go somewhere where there's a resistance, and Fu has to go off and do something. I don't know. This is the thing with randomness. You never know. Onion could go join the robot revolution. Onion could. It's a bit of a waste of a character, really. He's only been in the party very briefly. Maybe I don't have to colour in Onion after all. Something to do with the resistance and the robot uprising. I feel like the thing that immediately came into my head was this kind of like Gandalf-esque sort of like, I'll hold them back, you go ahead kind of thing. Also, I like how Twitch is telling me that there are 3 viewers, and I can see at least, 4 people in chat. Thank you, Twitch. First thought was Stoker gets kidnapped again. Oh, poor Stoker. You feel bad for Stoker. I mean, if he's going to get kidnapped again, it's not going to be by the goons, so it's not going to be funny. Because they don't have any need for him. Fu could go, well then, young Brad, I leave you your apprentice for your future adventure. Possibly. That works. Fu stays behind to distract the plot important boss. Yeah, cool. Yeah, we might not beat the boss. Maybe that's why it's plot important. It comes back later. And obviously this would be an optional thing that happens because Fu is an optional character, but it's, I've included stuff like that in the plot before. If you don't have Fu, you just run away. So it turns out Fu is actually useless in this scenario. I don't know, maybe you have to do an extra fight or something? I don't know. But, okay, so we have basic idea. We're following Brad team. I don't know where we've gone. It's somewhere that's supposed to be friendly, but there is a boss there. So we would maybe we're going somewhere to like muster up sort of resistance enforcements, resistance, reinforcements. And we go somewhere and we're like, hey, things aren't good here, and then something happens. We don't have food. There's a mini game where you're chased by the boss. There's a spider in the giant robot spider in Final Fantasy VIII. X-ATM-092, if I remember correctly. It's Zebos related, so another city. We are going somewhere else. It's somewhere we haven't been before. So it could be another city. City Junior. Yeah, I was going to say the sort of smaller city. We've been to the big city. The next bigger city with much more core stuff. I was going to say a slightly smaller one. Indeed. I don't know what to draw if we don't know what's going on. So we go to a city of some description, presumably, and we go there for the purposes of trying to... Maybe this is where we're first introduced to this idea of the robot uprising is actually happening. Let me just grab a colour. Thank you very much, Blobs. Who's the plot important boss? Good question. Like I say, it might be plot important purely because we might end up fighting it again. Recurring bosses count as plot important, so they might be completely incidental to the actual story, but because they repeat again, they are important to the progression. Just thought one usually starts in the little village and goes to bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger places. True. Like I say, presumably at some point we are going to Magma City. That's pretty big. So maybe we are going to Magma City. Maybe this is Magma City. Also, I should put Charleave. There we go. I think we'll do Magma City later. Sorry, my throat's all weird. Oh, it's capitalist, but she's in a vehicle because we haven't met her yet, so she sends a big buff enemies after us. Yeah, that's cool. Maybe when you say like in a vehicle, maybe like just a big, not robot, obviously, it doesn't have sentience, but like a big armored thing. Well, Magma City, buy shirts, support the economy. Magma City, Zebras or Shrimp? I think they're independent. They're tinkerers. They're too busy working on their own stuff to realise what's happening in the rest of the world. Like, so we don't see her face yet. That can work, yeah? Okay, so we're going to a city. City number 2. City Junior. This place has domes on skyscrapers. And then like a big dome in the background. Welcome to Dome City. It has a dome. Domes are nice. Some amazing places in this one. Rossenburg, Unnamed Village, The City, City Junior, Mushroom Village, and Magma City. Great. Their inventors, mages, and forward thinkers trying to better the world while completely ignoring it while doing so. Welcome to I like the idea of calling it. Junior. The Domed City. Big. It's not as big as the big city. Also, these are like brick buildings. They're very, very tall, though. I think they make amazing stuff, like the robots, but completely don't see how they could be used to do bad things. I made the giant death ray for good, not evil. Oh, sounds like a real place name, and you're just writing Junior all fancy. Yep. Junior. It's almost like noir, but not. So, okay, we come here, and maybe we see like a glimpse of the robot uprising just as we're walking through. Nothing too much, but it's happening. I now need to come up with robots to draw. Maybe we meet the goons while we're here, and they're like... It's always nice to see the goons. Oh, by the way, hey, guess what? Guess what? Guess what? I haven't drawn anything today. Hooray! Confetti. Do. Strims. There we go. That's the drawing. This is basically what I'm trying to draw. I've already done it once. Do I have to do it again? I'm quite pleased with the reflectiveness on that for an hour's doodle. Also, thank you for reference. Yeah, I don't actually know what's going on around this side. I also don't know what's going on with the feet. It's fine. Have I ever drawn Gabe's feet? Oh, this is what they look like now. Oh, it disappeared. And then it reappeared. Ah. Everyone's gonna get roped into passing out fires. Wick doesn't know what's going on, but he's here for chaos. Gabe offered a smaller sign and Wick insisted on the knife. And when Wick insists on a knife, you don't argue. Ah, it's been so long I've forgotten how to draw these characters. Doopity doop. The hair goes the other way. Doopity doop. I forgot about the quad knocks. Doodly doop. If you give a mouse a cookie, but it's if you give a candle a knife. We forget about the quad knocks as well, yeah. Baggly flits. Don't worry about the anatomy, it's fine. It's like, oh, do we have to do this? Honestly, you've told the person who bought the convinced brand to pass out flyers. Do, 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 do. Do we have to do this? You started the revolution, you idiot. You better finish it. Sounds about right. He's not even doing anything. Anyway, they're trundling along. Doing their own thing. I was like, hey, were those... So do I think that was? Hey, look. Another drawing that looks nothing like Brad. In a different way. He didn't need to be here, he could have just gone home. He insisted and then complained the entire time. Look, Grigori is... He's nothing without other people around him. He also hates being with other people. It's fine, Gabe, with convince him with his state-of-the-art social interaction enhancements. Gregori's like, told you we should never have gotten those. They really, really wanted the upgrade. Yeah, now look where it's gotten us. Yeah, I definitely remember how to draw these characters. It's fine, don't worry about it. Yeah, you get the idea. So he's gonna subtweet him a lot, got it. Meadow wiggle his eyebrows encouragingly. Will you ever complain about something you did not directly cause? Or... What a silly question. Gregory will complain about everything. Right, that's a drawing. Moving on. Boss. So we meet them, we see a bit of the robot uprising thing happening, and we're like, okay, this is the second biggest base for the resistance. Let's go and get them and tell them we're ready to actually do something. And then maybe we turn up and it's on fire or something. And Fu, not delighted about this idea. Okay, so this boss. Are we... We like the idea that Capitalist is kind of introduced here, if to the player, if not to the party, in some sort of vehicle. Is the vehicle part of the boss? Maybe boss Zebo's hired to take down the resistance. Yeah. So I imagine like we turn up. Forearms are harder to position than you'd think. Until you put in the ears, you were like, why are you drawing a buff porfa? It's porfu, I'll have you know. Chip squat. Kind of worked. Too well. Hey, drawing forearms. Haha! Secret base is on fire! I know, perfect music. You thinking of FF9 again? Off the top of my head, no. Although I probably was. That game has influenced my brain in many ways. Can't remember to what that was referring. Who knows? There is music in the background. It's quite quiet. Let me know if you want me to turn it up. Adrian von Ziegler. 2 hours of fantasy music. First, oh no, this wasn't Celtic one. This is just fantasy music. In 2014. You can tell, listening to this, you can tell he's definitely improved in his orchestration and realism. There's going to go with forearms. There is, yes. Alleyway Jack. No spoilers, you meet him in the first 10 minutes. Although I guess spoilers for an optional side quest, which we won't mention in this, in the thingamabob. Draw through. That's supposed to be Gilgamesh. So, there you go. I didn't know that because I never did that side quest. You got to get all of the treasure in the game, and like, I always miss stuff. And it involves going back to Diero, and that's just a pain in the backside. And that's not a spoiler because that city is entirely optional, if I remember correctly. Anyway, It's nice though. Feels like it could have been part of Trino, but what are you gonna do? Maybe that was cut content or something that they were connected. Well, that's actually a fun fact. Might turn the music down a bit. It's getting a bit much. Very fine line. Yeah, fun fact. Yes, I'm taking a conversation about Final Fantasy and turning it into a conversation about Dark Souls. Oh yes. I found out recently that Dark Souls 2. There's a lot of things in Dark Souls 2 that people get upset about. In particular, the fact that you get to the top of a windmill, and then you take a lift from the top of the windmill up and into the bottom of a lava-filled castle. And how that doesn't make any sense. Souls! Apparently, the lava-filled castle was meant to be underneath the Forest of Fallen Giants, which is why the whole bottom bit has like lava lizards in it. And the lift in the windmill was supposed to go down, all the way down and into the crypt, which turned out to be under Dragon Lake. Which is why there are grave guards in the windmill. So, yeah, it was originally supposed to make sense, but if you actually think about how the game would have progressed with those things, that wouldn't have then made sense. So, or it wouldn't have felt sort of balanced. I guess like the windmill would have been one of the last places, sort of before you found Vendrick. It would have been weird. So I understand why they rearranged it for the purposes of the gameplay flow, and I quite like the fact that you get to the top of a windmill and then go up in a lift into a lava castle. I like that. It's a fantasy game. But I can get why other people don't. So they done effed up. It was a tumultuous release cycle. They basically had to scrap the entire game a year before release and then remake it. So I will forgive them many things. It's a miracle it's as good as it was. Still not as good as the other ones though, but nonetheless. Enough of that. Back to game. The resistance is on fire. Whoop whoop. It's the resistance is on. It's. My brain was going to make a reference to a song then, but I just think the song I was referencing wouldn't make sense with the words I was saying. So I don't know why my brain wanted to do it. But anyway, resistance is on fire, and Fu is not happy. We then have a fight with a boss, which is presumably either. Oh, what you could do is drive home this. Oh, is this a bit too on the nose? Maybe. I was thinking of like some sort of. You have Capitalist in the vehicle, in the sort of shielded vehicle of some description. And maybe you hear a voice, but you don't see who she is. Still voting a wave battle? Wave? Sorry, I must have missed that comment. I don't know why, but my brain wanted me to do it. Yep. But like they could send instead of fighting herself, she would send like robots to do the bidding. But there's the whole robot revolution thing going on. So maybe the robots are like being coerced in some sort of way, like they're chained, or we need good reason to think, hey, these people are bad. These people are doing bad things. I'm trying to think. This reminds me of something, but I can't remember what. I mean, it kind of reminds me of a boss from a game that I was going to make, but didn't. So that's not helpful. I was suggesting this be a wave enemies boss with Cat directing them. Right. Well, with the last time we did a wave of bosses, that was a boss rush. So I don't think we can do that. But we can definitely do this whole idea of, you know, Cat sending out something to attack us. I'm just got to think of what that thing is. I feel like it would be robot based, wouldn't it? Maybe it's like a robot with like something on top of it controlling it, and we've got to sort of free it from the actions of the person on top. Something like that. Not sure. What's that thing? What's that from? The well, there's like a creature. It's a fantasy thing, and there's like a creature, and then a smaller creature on top, and the smaller creature's like pulling like nerves of the bigger creature to make it move. What was that? I mean, it's an idea that's been used in a lot of things. I think the Silt Striders from Morrowind are a bit like that. There's like a whole Doctor Who episode about that. Anyway, something like that, but with robots. It's like a big chained robot. It's yeah, it's not a nice idea. But we are dealing with not a nice group of people. So I want a big robot. And I want a big robot that's not as awful as the big robot that I drew before. With the axe arm that looked like it was designed by a 5-year-old. So, what is this? Presumably fire-oriented, right? Because we've got fires going on here. So maybe it's got like a big sort of raging internal furnace. Think about that can be our starting point. Robot with a controller and a strapped-on cockpit. Yeah, something like that. If you cut the straps, you freeze the robot. Yeah. Again, multiple ways of doing it. Either you have to do something to notice that the thing can be cut free and then you focus on that, or you just fight it like a normal straight-ahead boss and you don't get the benefit of freeing the thing. Trying to think like what would be the best. Like, what's this for other than, you know, burning stuff? Because my immediate thought is just flame cannons, whoosh. Coming out arms on that. But can we do better than that? Freeing is harder. Yeah, we'd have to work out some sort of puzzly thing going on there. You have to do things in a certain sequence. Gotta cut the chain to loosen the bolt, etc., etc. Connected to the leg bone. This is as far as my creative energy has gotten me today. Just a furnace. Maybe just have this as like, boom, big old component. There's like a couple of... What do the people who work for the company look like? I imagine they're wearing like flame resistant sort of equipment. We don't really have like a sort of enemy outfit, do we? It could be a foresting robot that does controlled burns and the like, and is immune to fire itself, so as not to risk lives. So it could have a firearm, a water arm, and some kind of saw. Okie dokie then. So maybe, how about this? How about maybe? I don't know if I'm sort of properly getting this idea across, but the idea sort of being that it's sort of like a circular section with sort of 3 prongs coming up from it. And then attached to each prong is an arm. There's one around the back. Work out what it is in a second. I think there's an enemy outfit. The goons all wear different outfits, and you don't think we've seen a lot of Zibus employees in one place. We've seen the post office workers, but they're not really. These look intimidating, but they're primarily there just to, you know, not get caught on charred bits of wood. Easy to traverse things on a tripod, less probability of getting stuck. They did, yes. There was a Gil also got changed into it, partially. These all act as grabbers as well. Just for good measure. This is one that water can be sprayed out of. Actually trying to illustrate that this thing is really big. All I remember from that uniform was the jacket and sunglasses. Because that's all Gil could fit. Yes, sure, we can. Maybe some tanks just visible over its back to show it's got a lot of water. Possibly we can have some sort of like bits coming up from here. This one contains water. This one contains fuel. Don't get them mixed up. And then maybe we can just really unsubtly emphasize this whole thing by having this thing wrapped up in chains. What's a good JRPG without a complete lack of subtlety? Drawing chains, it's the most fun thing on Twitch. That's what you all come here for, isn't it? Watching me draw chains. There we go. Definitely, indeed. Anyway, there you go. Here's... I don't know. Triptych. I'm gonna call it triptych. But they have a crown. That's the bolted on control thing. That's the bit you got to break off. So attached. Can't believe it's been 21 streams to watch you draw some chains. Yeah, I know. You know what they say? Keep them wanting more. You don't do it straight out of the gate in one of the first 4 months, do you? That's ridiculous. No, you got to keep your audience waiting at least a third of a year. And when you break it off, they put it in the big old ranger hands. Maybe. I like the tanks. Okay, so we fight this. Cat Petalist is in a car somewhere. Fantasy car. Boom. So randomly in the fight, they'll just roar, "Give me back my hat." I mean, yeah, but I also wouldn't put it past quite a lot of the bosses in this game to have done that already, so... Righto, so that happens. And so Capitalist is here, and they say something along the lines of, "Good riddance to the old resistance rubbish, resist trash." And then Fu gets upset and jumps into a burning building. And we never hear from him again. He'll crop up in the end credits, it's fine. Either way, boom, that streamlines the party a little bit. Now Brad's team consists of a child, a scarecrow, and a kleptomaniac robot. Not the most mature party you could possibly ask for, but there we are. What's the next symbol? Good question. So that having happened, we have death. Boom. Oh, MacGuffin use. Is it time for the toaster to come in handy? It's the only thing I can think of. We don't have the amulet. Mo's got that. So, and he's just always striving for self-improvement. Indeed. Brad has the stuff for even the smallest of ways, like having a party that is not mature whatsoever. Remember, we can re-meet people. True. Anyone can come in and out of the plot whenever at this point. So we can meet people we haven't seen for a while. They can be in the city. Who knows why? East God. East. We haven't met East God yet. It's the problem. Unless that's the next boss. The last symbol. Boss rush. All yeast. It gets bigger and bigger as you fight. You need it into existence. What are we doing? It's MacGuffin use. So we could re-meet Resistance Piece because of MacGuffin use. We could do... Brad, prove thy baking skills. I don't... Do we look at the last symbol? It's a small area. I guess there's not an awful lot to do here. Plot, of course. Okay. So. And then story happens. So a MacGuffin is used and then a lot of story happens. It's only City Junior, it's fine. We're not coming back here. We only came here to ready the troops. Gives us a lot of ideas, doesn't it? Okay. Where's that list? 15, wasn't it? Well, there's the toaster. Toaster Mark II. Remember, and Freya the carpet. I don't think Freya... If Freya's here... things haven't gone well. Yeah, so here are the things that we have set up. Capitalist, toaster, shrimp god. Past conflict with Mrs. Baker. Maybe there's a thing with Fu and Mrs. Baker happening here. That we could resolve that. Mrs. Baker sort of jumps in and helps the resistance people, and they have a talk about what it means to be a real hero versus what Fu's idea of being a hero is, etc., etc. Use the map Fu gave us to find resistance people from earlier, and we get so much info on the crap the company is doing about the robots. True. Mrs. Baker shows up and Brad's just like, "Mom!" And she's like, "Oh, I see you've got your own little adventuring party." No, I don't! Yeah, I think, yeah. Brad's mum can arrive. I think that's a good thing that can happen here. Yeah, because we got the map, didn't we? Got the map that showed us the resistance hideouts. Maybe it is in some way some sort of magical Harry Potter map that literally shows the position of the resistance members, and thus we can use it to find people who are lost and like help them in the middle of a fire or something. We can have like an action sequence of running around the fire, save as many people as you can before the building collapses or whatever. The map vibrates as you get closer. Mrs. Baker shows up with her old adventuring party because they were having a catch-up meeting. And they were like, I bet Foo's up to something really, really stupid. Arrives at scene of massive burning building. Not an adventuring party, one of them's a literal child. One of them's a child, one of them's a scarecrow, and the other one's a robot we didn't invite into the party, he's just here. Maybe Fu gets injured, so we have to get Fu to them for help. That's why he leaves the party. Yeah, that makes sense. That way it's not reliant on the plot, it's just a thing that can happen in the plot. Fu jumps in and he's like, I'm gonna help people. And then ends up hurting himself. He's like, Brad, you need to go on and be the hero that I used to be. And Brad's mum's like, shut up. Brad, you do what you want to do. I know you want to help, but I should draw something. They show up at the burning building, they're just like, yeah, that seems something Fu would get involved into. Oh, they're all walking around the city and they're like, we should probably invite Fu to this. No, should we really invite Fu? Oh, he'll probably invite himself. He's probably around here somewhere. They turn the corner, building on fire. It's like, oh, yeah. Okay, so what we're going to have is we're going to have... Or maybe this is a good thing. Because I'm just going to draw Brad, like, pulling people out of the fire. And maybe that's a good, like, thing of, like... You know, he was always worried about this idea of the heroes who fight the monsters and then just leave for everyone else to clear up the mess and ignore how many people died in the process and all that sort of stuff. But, like, Brad's mum turns up just as he's, like, helping pull people out of a fire. Set a building on fire. The capitalists set a building on fire. Also, hi, miss. How you doing? It's slightly on fire. Okay, brief recap as to what's happened. We arrived at Dunyor, the domed city. It's a slightly smaller city compared to the big city. We arrive and we find that the goons are having a wonderful time picketing for robot rights. And then the resistance building is on fire, which is not ideal, all things considered. Fu is not happy about this. And we discover that this is the work of, naturally, the company. Capitalist is here to oversee the destruction of the thingamabob, and they've chained up a robot that has now gained sentience and doesn't want any part of this, but nonetheless is being forced into destroying things. And you have the choice to either just destroy the robot, as you would with a fight, or free it. This is fine. You're good. How are you all? I'm glad you're good. I'm alright. And now, Brad is helping rescue people from the fire. Fu has been injured and has left the party. And we're about to see Brad's mum arrive while Brad is being heroic. Brad, pretty good at resisting heat. Spending a lot of time around ovens and such. Any good start to the week, miss? Stoker, also very good at resisting heat. Jethro going nowhere near this bloody thing. Yeah, Jethro, less good at resisting heat. Maybe some Brad Jeans baking is warm. Yeah, I'm not good with heat either. I used to be when I was a kid. I used to wear a massive black wool coat everywhere. I remember we had like the hottest day of the year on a sports day, and I was just outside in a big old black wool coat. My science teacher walked past and said, "What does that say about me?" Ups and downs for the start of the week. Oh no. More ups. Three-quarters of brand party members are good at resisting heat. And Onion's in there just running around collecting stuff. There's something in the air. Oh no. Also, luckily for Brady, is wearing a heat-resistant apron, so Loaf can just sort of hide out in here for a bit. Be fine. Hello, you had to leave for a bit but have returned. That reward design was very cool. Thank you very much. So I think this would be a good time to run into other Resistance members we ran into earlier so that we can reuse characters for once. So we have some people to give useful plot, and so we can have someone to drop Fu off with. I think maybe we can meet Freya again. And, I mean, well, they can't die. We haven't had a death symbol, so... But, like, they're made of carpet. And they're in a burning building. They're not going to do great. Oh yeah, we needed plot. We've got plot. Lots of things can happen here. We can learn loads of stuff about the company and what's going on there. Very singed. Oh, also Christie's villain is now called Viv. That's another thing that happened. Okay, some more reference. I'm using some. Oh, the fact that there's sort of like primary draw through thing, and I've drawn all these characters, and yet most of the time I resort to. Most of the time I look up chibi drawings as reference. Yeah, so we can meet the rest of the Brad's mum's adventuring party, but chibi drawings, yeah, chibi draws, good chip draws. So obviously Brad's mum rushes in to help. It's difficult to see this scar on the eye when the perspective. One chip draw. No, this is the. I also have this open. Ah, hay fever. Eventually it'll stop. in about February. And then it'll come back in March. Two jib drop. She got big old gloves. Yeah, does anyone have anything cool planned for the rest of the week? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the rest of the body. It's fine, don't worry about it. And if you keep planting the flowers under your window and aiming the industrial fans at your house. You don't have to do that. There's a massive lavender bush underneath my window. Maybe you have to see how things work out there. Ooh. Going to the hospital tomorrow to get tummy scanned. Nice. Also Dishonored RPG. Yay. You're removing more things from Chip. Yes, and you will find out in 3 months' time. That's just to check if everything's fine, as is always handy. Hey, listen. Autosave. It takes a while. Here we go. A little bit on fire. See what's really see what this is supposed to be. Bits of Freya. Whatever's left, slightly on fire. It's fine. Oh, I missed a lot of chat. What's going on? Oh, you might have bought a PS5. So you can be playing some Ratchet and Clank this weekend. Yeah. Marv. You totally read it all and know exactly what you're doing. Yeah. Well, as I have been reading it, and yeah, 20s are fun. 20s are like, oh cool, we rolled a 20. Chibi can now change the world to make everything awful. Those are goggles, yeah. Nobody knows what they're doing in this RPG. It's fine. I'm reading the rules. It's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done an RPG before, so. Literally bought it 20 minutes ago. Ooh, exciting! Made of wool, she's fire resistant. Ah, it's compact. Got it. Cool. Now to play the system, not so much how to make a character. See, that's the bit I do know. Complications are only as bad as the GM makes them. True. But bearing in mind that Chibi has now been getting back into a character who was, you know, killed during a one-off play session, maybe, you know, maybe not lean too much on the GM being lenient towards you. We all have bits of knowledge. We can figure it out together. I was going to sit down and make notes because there are lots of little fiddly things. But I also don't want to be the person that goes, I think in the rulebook it says. Anyway, enough of this. We're doing 16 symbols. So, yeah, this is supposed to be Stoker in case you didn't. That's not Stoker's leg, by the way. That's someone else. Knocked out, not dead. So much happened in chat. I know, I had to scroll back up. Yes, so. Plot. Plot occurs. Games are fun, rules are secondary. Exactly. To be fair, the rule system in this does seem very much like, hey, it's all going to make sense as you do it. This book is here for when you get confused. Yeah, so, stuff. So Brad's mum turns up, helps out with the whole fire thing, helps rescue people. And we get a little bit of a reconciliation between her and Fu, because whether Fu was in your party, if Fu is in your party when this happens, Fu jumps in, all that stuff happens. You use the MacGuffin to do the helping people out, for finding people in the fire and all that sort of thing. Using the map to find people, because it's a magic map that tells you about resistance members and stuff. Were we supposed to read rolls or anything for RPG times? No, just we're just doing character stuff, I think. So there is a chapter in the book on character creation, but we can. There's not an awful lot to know. Just to get in. Anyway. There's a sheet that does most of the work. So, Brad's mum turns up. Stuff. And yeah, we get a bit of reconciliation. Brad can talk about... Like I say, I like the idea that this is like... Brad's mum turns up while Brad is doing the thing that he thinks is being heroic. Which is not what he's just sort of... has been brought up to think is what heroes do. Which is fight the dragon... ignore collateral damage, move to the next dragon or whatever, you know. It's like Brad is literally here staying behind trying to rescue people from the consequences of the bad things happening. Yes, he slayed the dragon, or maybe he didn't even slay it, did he? There's the possibility he freed it from its chains. But now he's here to help people out, and that's nice. I like that. And he can sort of go, hey, look, I can help people. Or maybe he doesn't even realise that's what's happening, and his mum points this out because his mum's not as pressuring him into being a hero as Fu is, because Fu and Brad's mum had an argument earlier on in the story, so on and so forth. Yeah, so we can learn about that. And we can have a bit of, not character development, because that's a symbol, but at the very least, a sort of bit of a chat about it. Character interactions and such, you know? Then, like how as soon as I start talking about all this, the previously supersonic chat is now completely still. It's great. Yes, and then we get to talk to the resistance members, those that have survived, including burnt up Freya. Let's draw Freya. Gotta remember how to draw Freya. What was Freya? Help! Freya, where are you? Here we are. There you are. Okay, yeah, you got tassels for arms. It's all tassel. Got it. Cool. Grand. Fantastic. Moving on. I guess it's all sort of scraggly stuff, sort of burn marks all around. This is not in a good way. Gonna be some serious upholstery needed. And Freya gives us some information about what's going on. There's the robot uprising, but the company's trying to quell it, and maybe the company has an idea as to how to shut off all the robots or something. Evil plot. Hooray. They know how to drain life force out of things now. Thinking. Time to do some felting. Yes. His hair is still slightly on fire. Don't worry about it. Doop doop. Doop 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 doop. Oh, by the way, while I'm here, hi. Welcome. Patrons, there's a new video. Call of Cthulhu Highlights, Part 1. I've been told is very silly and a lot better than the game that it's about. People who aren't patrons, guess what? There's a new video! Yes! Fantasy tour guides from Avonvale, a project that I've been working on for bloody ages. But I've never released anything because I'm like that. She's tiny, she's a little bit of carpet, it's fine. Yeah, new videos for everybody. And I like both of them in very different ways. Should probably mention these things because I mention them briefly on social media and then forget to talk about them for ages. Yeah, so get a glimpse into Avonvale, which hopefully I'll do more of in future. Or get ready for spooky season with some Call of Cthulhu nonsense. Here's on the table. Freya. Freya is a carpet. Also an engineer. They help make Toaster Mark II. I can't believe you didn't remember such an important character. Do a crab dance with Call of Cthulhu to the tune of "Hurry up, I'm gonna fucking die here, Jack." Yes, indeed. I was very impressed when I was putting that together. I was like, do you know what? Hazel did a good job with that. You were away for 5 months. Well, I did just get the picture up, so was it here? Here we are, Freya. This is Freya. They made Toaster Mark II. They're part of the Resistance. I was trying to make a cute mascot. And these were some random attempts, and I just ended up making Freya the carpet. Yeah, they're a bit burnt. Because they've been in a fire. But they'll be alright. Because there wasn't a death symbol. So... Jethro's gonna help. Jethro can sew. He's gonna try. Jethro can definitely sew. Look at the wonderful quality of their clothes. Yeah, Freya might not, you know. Jethro's got a bit of an October thing going on. They'll help fix the problem, but it might not end up being exactly the same as before. There we go, get the idea. Poor Freya, yes. They sign, so the hand wind dexterity is really good. Oh, they're just ambidextrous. Or ambisinistrous, depends. It's called fashion sweaty. Oh, twig, I get it, cool. Sorry, I thought you were using the phrase hand twin to mean dexterous. Like, oh, both hands. You know? Ambidextrous. Hand twin. Didn't know if that was a way of expressing the concept, without necessarily knowing the words. But yes, possibly either ambidextrous or ambisinistrous. Either way, ambivalent. So yeah, what do we learn about the company? What does I imagine Freya maybe knows a bit more about all this stuff, and we can learn a bit from Freya. And twins. They should get the little Muppet doll, whose name you always forget, sorry, to come help. Muppet doll? Oh, Claudio. Possibly. Claudio's good at doing a sew. Claudio. That's alright, this has only appeared in like 5 or 6 comics out of 78. So didn't start with an M at all. Carpet might end up with a tattoo, possibly. Yeah, I don't know what's happening with October, must be said. Eventually I'll do something with it. I have an ending. Should you do it at some point? I'll probably weave it back into my work hours since don't seem to be doing anything else. Yeah, I stopped doing it to free up time to do actual work. And then there was no actual work. Ho-hum, best laid plans and all that. So what do we learn about the company? The company, they're dealing with the robot uprising, but they possibly have the ability to... How about this? Okay. Thought. Ending is Luna gets an actual holiday and a decent cup of coffee, if only. They get a night out. That's something that happens at some point. Can I help you? Just here for more chaos and violence. Okay, so we were considering the possibility of later on in the story there being like a big sort of a pseudo-apocalyptic event where just all of the magic goes, right? And everything that has been brought to life by magic stops. And, you know, all that sort of stuff. Because Shrimp is consolidating the power back, because that's where that magic came from in the first place, was the nullification of Shrimp God and Thingy God, the Hippo Goddess. Jethro, gasp! Indeed. Yeah, that was a plot point. Onion. Brambles, even. Like, not... Brambles doesn't stop, they just turn into an animal. As do all the familiars. They just lose all their connection and things like that. Viv's new leg just stops working. Gil. So we lose a lot of characters in this, but this is like the kind of low point just before the we fight back and we regain some sort of control. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm thinking. In order to help beat the robot uprising, the company have developed some sort of machinery that they think, with the help of Poison Nurse, they have developed this machinery that they think they can use to withdraw the power from the robots, so that and this will quell the uprising, right? But what they don't know is the Poison Nurse is like, brilliant, they're making this machine, get all the energy, I'll just crack that thing up to max, boom. And that's the catastrophic event. The company just thinks they're quelling the whole robot thing. But Poison Nurse is manipulating them into making a machine that can just, you know, switch off all the magic in the world. And more importantly, absorb all of that life energy for use in either Shrimp God shenanigans and or turning Poison Nurse into a horrible eldritch being. Things come together, storylines. Weaving like a carpet. FFS boys, we've been over this. This is why we don't have family dinners anymore. Yeah, it all works out. It all comes together. Poison Nurse is worse than Zibs. Yeah, now we just gotta hope that storyline actually arrives. We'll make it happen. We don't need a death symbol to make it happen because it's not death, it's just stopping. Theoretically reversible. Yeah, just a plot. We could do all that with just a plot symbol. We just need that to happen at some point. Poison Nurse is worse than this. Indeed. It's a low bar. No, that's a high bar. You know what I mean. Poison's definitely the worst at the family dinner table, which says a lot considering Gregory and Schrodinger are sitting at the same table. I feel like that's kind of how, or maybe I was going to say that's how Gregory and Schrodinger got to where they were, because they were like, oh, we got free reign, basically. Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Poison Nurse was very, like, straight edge, just surrounded by, you know, madcap tomfoolery constantly. And at some point they just snapped. At some point they were just like, screw this. We will bend the rules to make this work. Okay, now we've got to remember that that's a thing. Schrodinger was the guy in the roller skate friend, roller skate ringleader in the factory. Hang on, let's get that up. It was only a couple of streams ago, wasn't it? Okay, it was a few streams ago. Here we are. Boom, Schrodinger. What a hot mess of a character this is. You'll put this into Discord and pin it. Thank you very much. Thank you for being much more efficient than any of us. I mean, you say Chippy organised a whole Google Doc folder for all this stuff. The brother we don't talk about, and that's saying something. You always forget that this is what he looks like. It's because he was a mess and only drew him once. We needed to find. We need a character. Oh, next week's probably the last time you'll be here live on Tuesdays for a while. Oh no. Well, we'll try and cram the rest of the story in. Oh yeah, the wristwatch. Forgot about that. Just a fob watch tied to the wrist. Yeah, cool. So that happens. All that happens. We discussed this. I don't know how much of this Freya knows. Yeah, maybe Freya knows about the machine that's going to turn the robots off, but doesn't know about the whole poison nurse thing. Maybe when we swap to nurse team or shrimp team, Shramp, maybe that's when we learn that Poison Nurse has a plan for doing what she's been doing at the Mushroom Village, but on a much larger scale. And maybe that gives the player a chance to put two and two together. Like, the company have this machine. Because I guess at this point we don't really know that the Poison Nurse is working for the company. Or working with the company, I should say. Yeah, they both have half the information. And when the player gets both, maybe they can put two and two together and go, one of these has a machine that can withdraw magic and deactivate robots. The other one has plans to absorb all of the magic in the world for nefarious purposes. Thoughts. Viv knows she was going to work... Viv knows she was working with the company. Yes, of course. So we do. Oh, Viv's here as well, by the way, somewhere. She can't help with the fire thing. She's just recovering from us beating the crap out of her. Don't we Poison Nurse was sent after the party by Pitlist? I mean, the player, presumably the player does, but the party doesn't. I guess that's the idea. But they would do, they at least would do after Viv. Because I guess we didn't even really know that Viv was working for the company. Oh, well, maybe. I don't know. It depends how much we reveal at any given point, because I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Like, one thing is, once we've got the actual vague plot line down, the entire thing, if we really wanted to actually do something with this, the sensible thing would be to go, right, let's go right back to the beginning and actually talk this whole thing out and set up when people know what, and properly sort of sort out this whole mess of a story. Now we know where it's going, you know? We knew Viv because she was doing stuff at the factory for the company. I guess so. I guess we knew that was to do with the company, which is why we knew to sort out the resistance. It's important to know what people know at any given point. Yay, editing. It's great. We're going to talk this out at the end. We're going to do a Fool's AU of this story. What if this was competently written? Second draft. 16 symbols, draft 2. I guess that's kind of the nice thing about doing it in this format, is that we have to talk it out. We can't just sit there and write tippity tap or scribbly scrib. We have to say it. We have to say this person does this and this and this and this. And by saying things out loud and vocalizing them, you can sort of realize. And we have a discussion, lots of people going on. It's more obvious to sort of point out problems when problems arise. Agio podcast draw along. I like the idea of doing a multiplayer draw through. Yeah, can people come on the stream to talk? Sure. I'm not going to stop you. Actually, I did have. Sorry, this is the end of the stream is just me rambling about things. I did have an idea the other day as to something that's like not exactly a draw through, but I was trying to think of like collaborative, creative things, because I remember when we did Parsnip Mon. And I was like, I quite like the idea of doing something like that, where lots of people work on designing one big thing, but without me being in the middle of it, because I put too much work on myself, as always. And I was thinking, like, Parsnip Mon was fun. It was a good time. And I was thinking, like, because we just started Death's Door, and there was a point in the game where it was like, oh yes, you have the 3 zones of the world. And I was like, of course you have 3 zones. And I thought, well, what if you did something like that? What if you had like a game, an idea for a game, and you got a bunch of people together, however many people, who could draw or write or whatever their creative outlet is. And then everybody would sort of have a zone in this world, whatever zone they want. But rather than just sort of sitting down and designing things for your own zone. And again, I think I got this idea from sort of Gartic Phone, almost. You sort of have your zone and you explain to everybody, okay, this is my zone, this is the vague sort of feeling of what it is and what I want it to be like and all that sort of stuff, and then you pass your zone to the left. And then everyone designs a thing for the zone they just received. And then you pass it on, and then you design something else, and then you pass it on, so on. And so everybody is designing for everybody else's stuff. And you can sort of communicate as to what, you know, if you, I have this idea for your thing, do you think this would work or not, so on and so forth, and you get a big cross-pollination of ideas. I have no idea if that's something that's viable, but it was the thing that popped into my head. Sounds like lots of fun. I would hope so, but like I say, thing that would need a lot of organising. Because I think my original idea was like you have like a random generation, so like everyone passes the zone over to the person on the left, and then we randomly generate, spin the wheel, and the wheel landed on boss. Okay, everyone designs a boss, and then move it on, and then spin the wheel. It's like, oh, character. Everyone designs a character. Spin the wheel. Oh, a resting place. Everyone come up with a cool idea for a rest. I don't know, something like that. But it could be more vague. It could just be, what could I come up with for this place? And then you can just play to your personal tastes and strengths, rather than being forced to do something you wouldn't otherwise do. Here we go. So Ragdoll's summary of what just happened. Future endgame plot ideas. Thanks to Poison Nurse's magic siphoning knowledge, Zebus has been able to make a machine that can drain the magic/life from the robots to quell the robot uprising and revolution. Unknown to Zebus, Poison Nurse plans to use this machine for her own means and turns its siphoning to max to drain the magic from all sorts of creatures that are alive because of the magic dispersed from Shrimp God, Shrooms, Jerboa, robots, constructs like Wick and Freya, animal familiar bonds, etc., and use this magic for her own means. Means might include summoning Shrimp God, harnessing power to become a god, everything backfires and she goes to goo, etc. I like the idea that maybe, like, near the end we catch her sort of resurrecting, summoning Shrimp God, blah, 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 but we fight her and break the whole summoning thing. And that's when everything sort of goes wrong. It's like, well, the magic's pent up now and it's not got anywhere to go, so something's going to happen to Poison Nurse. And that's when we get the horrible eldritch monstrosity that is the final boss of a JRPG. Um. So yeah, that's the thing. We have 2 minutes. Let's look at what the next place is, because we're now done here. Unless there's any more plot we wish to convey. Resolving Brad's stuff and so on. And the whole resistance thing, the burning building, what have you. Okay, so we have the next place is going to be an unfriendly place. It's going to be quite short. Who knows what's going to happen there? But the first thing that's going to happen is plot. Of bloody course it is. Okay, so this is presumably we're going to swap over to Shramp team. And we're going to go to an unfriendly place, maybe like another cult cave or something like that. I think the remains of Brad's stuff should be resolved in the character development symbol, probably. Probably should, yes. So probably wait for one of those. Would it be worthwhile? Diddle-ding! New lore! More cult caves, yeah. And we can learn lots of things about Shramp. It'll be great. Maybe this is where we learn about how, this you know, all the magic in the world comes from the sort of nullification of the nullification that came out of the fight between Shramp and Hippo. And then we get an understanding of like, maybe there is something to do with the sort of shrimp gods cult thing. Poison Nurse is attached to that because Poison Nurse is trying to siphon that magic back. Maybe that's something. Yeah. Again, we can sort of put 2 and 2 together. We're hunting down shrimp stuff, so maybe an old shrimp temple is a very dangerous location. Yeah, we've been to a couple of hippo temples, so maybe we can go to like a proper shrimp temple. You were going to start a sentence. Would it be worthwhile to? Yes. Sorry, it took me a second. Would it be worthwhile between streams for me to find out where the rejoining symbol is, so we have a little bit of an idea as to how long this split is going to be? I don't know whether that would be useful or whether we should leave it to chance. That would be nice, because it might be at the end of this location and that's it, but it might also be in the penultimate location. I don't know. I don't think it's in the last one, because well, it might be. It depends how I program the bot. I think I would have noticed that when I was checking through to see if it would make sense. That would be nice. That would be nice. I have a sneaking suspicion that it would be nice. Okay, so we're going to a dangerous location, which will probably be a shrimp temple. We're going to learn a bit about where all this sort of magical energy came from, and
that would be nice.
That would be nice. If it's in the last column, we should move it. No, we've got to deal with it. Shremple. For those of you who haven't or can't see the most recent video, I will show you one of the drawings that I did for it, because I feel like it's appropriate. There we go. Yeah, so that's the stream. Thank you everyone for coming along. I think we came up with some good stuff today. We sort of know where we're going now. We have an idea as to what the sort of climax of this story is going to look like. Yeah, I feel like there should be a thought bubble here saying, East gods. I've had so much practice drawing shrimps, yeah. Yeah, shrimps in the... Also, on an unrelated note.
Yeast gods.
Right, yeast gods. Linen room. It does look somewhat like their parsnip had a mullet. It's difficult to fit leaves in a hat. Grab disco. Again, not going to make a lot of sense to people who haven't seen the video, but that's what, you know, looking forward to things is all about. Yeah, I always feel bad when I'm like, you know, oh, patrons see this, and then in a month's time, everyone else will see it. It's like, I kind of want to just let friends into the, you know, Crispy Discord. I don't know. But then what's the point of, you know, you need to say thank you to the patrons somehow. Oh, hey, Dr. Yogurt. You're not King Vader, what are you doing here? Anyway. Blah-de-blah-de-blah. Yabba yabba yabba. I don't know how to end things. So yeah, thanks for coming along. Then you imply Dr. Yogurt and King Vader. Dr. Yogurt and King Vader are polar opposites. Dr. Yogurt is a respectable doctor, indeed. Yeah, oh, come on. Brief glimpse of October. Oh no, you didn't see that because of the thing. It's fine. You briefly would have seen October. Oh no. Very trustworthy indeed. So tomorrow there will be boom. Nothing at all. No stream tomorrow because I'm doing ARPG stuff. But to make up for it, on Saturday I'm going to be doing an extra long stream. I'll probably start at 6 rather than 7. I don't know how long I'll go on for. It's like back in the old XCOM days when I used to do 3-hour streams for that because that game took bloody ages because I'm very slow. Yeah. So nothing on Wednesday. Longer stream on Saturday. 24-hour stream. I don't even know if there's 24 hours in that game, but I'll play it for 24 hours. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. So there's that. There's also that idea I came up with for the collaborative world building for a game. I don't know if that's the thing we want to do. I just thought I'd mention it because I'll probably forgot that I ever thought about it. So I only came up with it yesterday. Yeah. So yeah, no stream tomorrow. Presumably Chibi Podcast / Hangout on Thursday. Nothing on Friday, apart from play games with friends. Yeah, and then back on Saturday for extra long stream. Presumably, yes. Fantastic. And then Sunday, more stuff with friends. Good old doodling nonsense, whatever it is. Gartic phone, building bodies, wikis, who knows? We'll find out. I made a new thumbnail for the VODs that is just Crispy and friends because we've lost track of any kind of format. So I'm like, sure, whatever. It's just friends. Crispy and friends. Yeah. Also, thank you to Adrian Von Ziegler for the music, even though YouTube paused it. I don't know for how long it's been paused, but, you know, it has been. Shush. Just friends. All the fun. Yes. Anyway, I'm going to stop talking now. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Yeah. Look after yourselves. Have a grand old time. I'll see you at the weekend, or whenever I next see you. I'll be in Discords and stuff. Yeah. Have a good week. You have a good week. Watch new videos if you have time and patience and desire to. And I'll see you around. Look after yourselves. Goodbye.